You know, I've covered this team for a long time. Through every high, every heartbreak, every maybe next year. And I can honestly say, I've never seen anything quite like what's happening right now inside the Cleveland Browns organization. Because after weeks of tension, silence, and flat-out denial, it finally happened. Jimmy Haslam forced Kevin Stefanski's hand. And if you think that sounds dramatic, wait until you hear what went down behind closed doors. From what I'm hearing, Haslam, the owner of the Browns, cornered Stefanski inside the team facility. This wasn't some polite chat or casual check-in. This was a confrontation, direct, emotional, and long overdue. Haslam reportedly told Stefanski, "Enough is enough. Play the kid." And now, it looks like he's getting his wish. Kevin. Stefanski has officially admitted that Shedeur Sanders, the rookie, everyone in Cleveland has been waiting to see, will finally suit up next week against the Patriots. But don't mistake this for a calm or orderly decision. What happened here was chaos. Pure organizational chaos. And honestly, it might end up being the biggest turning point in the Browns' entire season. Because think about this. The Browns just crushed the Miami Dolphins 31-6, a blowout win. Dillon Gabriel got his first NFL victory. Everything looked calm on the surface. But in that stadium, with 4 minutes left on the clock, tens of thousands of Browns fans started chanting one name. Shedeur! Shedeur! And here I am, trying to do my best to gather all the information I can for you and share it with you. Please leave your likes and comments, and I would be grateful if you subscribed. Let's continue. Now, let me ask you something. When was the last time a team won by 25 points, and the biggest story afterward was about who didn't play? That's exactly where we are right now. See, that moment, that chant, ripped open everything the Browns have been trying so hard to hide. The tension between the coaching staff, ownership, and the fan base has been brewing for weeks, maybe months. And that blowout didn't calm things down. It poured gasoline on the fire. The day after that win, local Cleveland radio absolutely exploded. Ken Carman and Anthony Lima went at it on air. And what they said revealed more than the Browns probably wanted fans to know. Ken Carman said what so many of us were thinking. What's the harm? The game's over. Let the kid go out there, take a snap, hand the ball off, give the fans something to cheer about. Who cares? Simple enough, right? But then Anthony Lima responded with the line that summed up everything. He said, "I don't see the use for that. And I don't know that they want to invite a lot of the nonsense that could be lurking behind the scenes." That word, nonsense, changed the tone completely. Because when an insider uses a word like that, it means there's real fear inside the building. Fear of what happens when Shedeur Sanders even steps on that field, let's be honest. This has never been about football alone. Dillon Gabriel is a good soldier, a career backup who managed the game, protected the football, and helped beat a struggling Dolphins team. But deep down, everyone knows he's not the future. The Browns know it. The fans know it. Jimmy Haslam absolutely knows it. And sitting right there on that bench is Shedeur Sanders. A first-round draft pick. A generational talent with a last name that guarantees attention. His dad is Deion Sanders, a cultural icon who dominates every headline he touches. Shedeur isn't just a quarterback. He's a brand, a following, a media empire all by himself. So the Browns' hesitation isn't about protecting Gabriel. It's about fear. Fear of what happens once they let that genie out of the bottle. Because the second Shedeur takes even one snap, the entire narrative shifts. Every incomplete pass Gabriel throws becomes a talking point. Every stalled drive becomes a debate. Every press conference turns into a referendum on when Shedeur will start. And you can hear that paranoia in every response from the Browns. When reporters asked Stefanski why he didn't play Shedeur in garbage time, the excuses were almost painful. We didn't want to disrespect Dillon. We didn't need the drama. But let's be real. The drama's already here. You can't hide from it when your own fans are chanting for your backup in a 25-point win. This is where the story takes a deeper turn. Because it's not just about Stefanski anymore. Multiple sources inside the organization have hinted that this decision isn't his alone. That's where Jimmy Haslam comes in. Haslam is a businessman first. He knows attention equals money. And right now, Shedeur Sanders is attention. Every social media post, every ESPN segment, every YouTube highlight, it all leads back to Cleveland. Haslam understands the business value of that better than anyone, and that's why this upcoming Patriots game matters so much. This isn't just another Sunday. This could be the moment everything changes. Here's the situation. New England's struggling. It's a winnable game for Cleveland. But if Dillon Gabriel starts slow, if the offense looks flat, if the Browns trail at halftime, those chants are coming back. Louder, meaner, more relentless than ever. And this time, it won't just be the fans applying pressure, it'll be the owner, because the truth is, Haslam's patience has run out. He didn't draft Deion Sanders' son to watch him hold a clipboard. He didn't invest in a media goldmine just to let it collect dust on the bench. He wants a spark. He wants excitement. He wants relevance. And if that means forcing Stefanski's hand, so be it. Now look, I get why Stefanski's hesitant. This isn't just a football decision. It's a cultural one. The moment Shedeur hits that field, the entire NFL world is watching. If he succeeds, Cleveland becomes the center of the football universe overnight. If he fails, it's a PR disaster. But here's the thing. That spotlight is coming whether they like it or not. You can't keep a quarterback like Shedeur Sanders on the bench forever. Every week he sits, the legend grows. Every press conference dodged. Every question avoided. It all adds to the pressure. And honestly, the Browns are creating the very chaos they're trying to avoid. If they'd just played him in that Dolphins game, even for one drive, even just to hand the ball off, none of this would be happening. Instead, by doing nothing, they turned a non-story into a national storyline. And now, here we are. A franchise once again caught in the middle of its own mess. A head coach trying to protect his locker room. An owner trying to protect his investment. A fan base begging for something to believe in. I'll tell you where I stand. I think it's time. I think Shedeur Sanders needs to play. Not because I believe he's automatically the answer, but because we need to know. The fans deserve to know. The organization deserves to know. You can't build a future on what if. You can only build on what you see. So when the Browns take the field against New England, pay attention to the little things. Who's warming up with the starters? Who's taking extra reps in practice? How Stefanski talks to the media? Because I have a feeling that the moment everyone's been waiting for might be closer than anyone's willing to admit. And when that moment finally comes, when Shedeur Sanders steps onto that field for the first time, the noise, the tension, the speculation will all fall away. It'll just be football again. Stefanski tried to keep it quiet, but it's out now. The so-called secret plan for Shedeur Sanders' final 4 games of the season? Yeah, it's real. And it's got the whole city fired up. Fans are furious. Insiders are whispering. And if what Rizzo said is true, we might be watching the final days of Kevin Stefanski as head coach, and the start of the Shedeur Sanders era in Cleveland. So, let me break down exactly what went down. Tony Rizzo went on the air and said, and I'm quoting him here, that 2 different sources inside the stadium told him Shedeur Sanders will start the last 4 games of the season no matter what, unless the Browns somehow win every single game through the Titans week. That means we're talking Bears, Bills, Steelers, Bengals. Those final 4 games, they want to see what Shedeur's got. And here's the kicker. One of those same sources told Rizzo Shedeur could be in even earlier than that. Now, you guys know me. I don't jump on every rumor that floats around. But after what we all watched yesterday against the Dolphins, I can't ignore this one. Because when you're running a Wildcat offense in the red zone, yes, a Wildcat, in 2025, that's not creativity. That's desperation. Let's call it what it is. Stefanski doesn't trust Dillon Gabriel. We saw it with our own eyes. Cleveland gets down in the red zone, right? You're thinking, okay, here we go. Let the quarterback take over. Show us why he's the guy. Except that's not what happened. Stefanski pulled out a playbook from the Stone Age, handed the ball to Quinshon Judkins, and had the running back take the snap. The running back! When's the last time we saw the Browns run a Wildcat? Joshua Cribbs, decades ago. You don't dust off a formation like that unless you've got zero faith in your quarterback. Zero. And you can feel it spreading through the locker room. Jerry Jeudy looked visibly frustrated. 2 catches for 17 yards. You could see it in his body language. He's looking around like, what did I sign up for? He came here to be a weapon, And instead, he's standing there watching handoffs and 5-yard checkdowns. And that brings us back to the leak. Because Tony Rizzo just blew the lid off this whole operation. All those weeks, Stefanski and the Cleveland media kept pushing that Dylan's our guy narrative. All that coach talk about Shedeur's not ready. He doesn't know the playbook. He hasn't progressed. Yeah, turns out that was all smoke. Tony Rizzo, who's got legit connections inside that building, says he heard from 2 people, 2 separate sources, that Shedeur is getting his shot at the end of the season. That's not speculation. That's a leak from inside Berea. And now, everything starts to make sense. Let's be real here. The Browns are sitting at 3-4. The offense looks completely lost. And behind closed doors, they're already mapping out Shedeur's debut. You don't do that if you believe in your starter. You only do that when you know your current guy can't cut it. And I'm sorry, but the numbers don't lie. Over the last 2 games, Dillon Gabriel has thrown the ball 71 times. 71 attempts. You know how many touchdowns he's thrown in that span? 0. Not 1. None. He's played 2 straight games without finding the end zone. And yesterday, he threw the ball just 13 times for 116 yards. You can't win in today's NFL playing that timid. He's playing scared football. Protective, conservative, terrified to make a mistake. And when he does try to throw it downfield, it's sailing over receivers' heads or landing out of bounds. Remember that wide-open Jerry Jeudy in the back of the end zone against Pittsburgh? He missed him by a mile. Those are throws franchise quarterbacks have to hit. So yeah, the Browns beat the Dolphins 31-6, but let's not kid ourselves. That wasn't a win. That was a confession. That was Stefanski admitting, without saying it out loud, that he doesn't trust his quarterback to throw the football when it matters. And now, Rizzo's report is the final puzzle piece. Behind the scenes, the Browns are done pretending. They're preparing to give Shedeur Sanders a 4-game audition to close the season. Bears, Bills, Steelers, Bengals. That's the stretch. Unless they go on some miracle run through Tennessee, Shedeur is getting the ball. And honestly, I think it's the right move. Because let's be real, Dillon Gabriel isn't the guy. He was a safe pick, a stopgap, a bridge quarterback. But he's shown us exactly what he is. A check-down machine who's holding this offense hostage. Meanwhile, Shedeur's sitting there on the sideline, hungry, confident, built for this moment. And the fans know it. And the crazy part, from everything I've been hearing, Shedeur's been balling out in practice. The reports about him not knowing the playbook, not progressing, that's spin. That's media cover to keep the QB controversy quiet. They didn't want the locker room divided. They wanted to buy time. But that plan's falling apart fast, and now the truth's leaking out. And speaking of chaos, let's not forget about the giant shadow hanging over this whole situation. Deshaun Watson. Yep, he's still in the building, still on the payroll, and now apparently cleared to work out after that Achilles injury. So let's just take stock here. Dillon Gabriel struggling as QB1, Shedeur Sanders waiting as QB2, Bailey Zappe floating around as QB3, and Deshaun Watson lurking somewhere in the background. Tell me, how's that supposed to build confidence? In anyone, Stefanski's job isn't just to call plays, it's to lead, to set direction, to give this locker room stability. But instead, he's created a circus. Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dillon Gabriel, now Shedeur Sanders. It's a never-ending quarterback carousel. And nobody knows who's actually steering this thing. But here's the thing. You can only hide behind coach speak for so long. You can only say, we're evaluating everything so many times before people stop buying it. Fans see what's happening. They saw you run the Wildcat because you don't trust your QB. They see the missed touchdowns, the stalled drives, the body language on the sidelines. The truth is, the smoke and mirrors act is over. And I'll tell you what I think is really going on. The Browns know they made a mistake naming Dillon Gabriel the starter out of camp. They thought his college experience at Oregon would translate, but it hasn't. And now they're quietly prepping the handoff. Rizzo's leak was just the confirmation. The timing even lines up perfectly. Patriots next, then a bye week. That's your window. You tell Shedeur after the bye, you're the guy. Give him 2 full weeks to prepare. Let him run the full offense, not the watered-down version, and just let the kid play. Because right now, the Browns are wasting a defense that's playing at an elite level, wasting elite weapons like Jerry Jeudy and Quinshon Judkins, and wasting a chance to find out what they really have in Shedeur Sanders. And look, will he be perfect? No, he's a rookie. There'll be mistakes. There'll be growing pains. But I'd rather watch a rookie make bold mistakes trying to win than a veteran check down his way to irrelevance. Kevin Stefanski's job depends on this decision. If he sticks with Dillon too long and the season slips away, he's gone. But if he makes the switch and Shedeur flashes that star potential, suddenly Stefanski's a genius. That's the crossroads we're at right now. So let me ask you guys, should the Browns wait until December? Or should they pull the trigger right after the bye and start Shedeur Sanders now? Because make no mistake, this is the biggest decision of the Browns' entire season. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's hear it. Shedeur now or Shedeur later? Because one way or another, that kid's getting his shot. And trust me, I'll be right here covering every second of it. If you're not subscribed already, hit that button. Because when Shedeur finally steps on that field, we're going to see the truth. Either the Browns found their franchise quarterback, or they're right back at square one. But something tells me, this time, it's going to be different.